We knew that the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets was going to be a fun series to watch, and you know that playoff basketball is back when the intensity is there. In tonight's game, we know that the intensity was there because the Brooklyn Nets brought it to the 76ers, 111-102, and of course D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert are playing their thing, and they're doing their thing, scoring 20 plus points today in today's game. And then you had guys like Spencer Dinwiddie come off the bench and give you an explosive 18, and also Jarrett Allen doing his thing. I mean, this Brooklyn Nets team is something scary to watch for the foreseeable future. And we'll see what kind of free agents they'll bring in for next season, and even possibly surprising the 76ers this time around and beating them in the first round. But the bigger story of this whole series was, of course, or I should say first game of game one, was of course Ben Simmons not being able to be introduced into the offense or not being integrated into the offense, as it seemed that Brett Brown decided, you know what, I'm gonna have Tobias Harris bring the ball up. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons, go down to the low block, do your thing. Even though, to me, what happens is when you put Ben Simmons in the low block, it just kind of negates Joel Embiid to be down there, because there's going to be times where it's going to be clogged up, there's not going to be enough room, and it's just going back to an old set that worked back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, but just doesn't work in today's game. And the fact that Ben Simmons went 4 of 9 with only 9 points tonight, I mean, 1 of 5 from the free throw line, 4 of 9, I mean, for 32 minutes, you're only giving me 9 points for a guy that's supposed to be your number 3 guy. That's absolutely ridiculous and something that should be abolished, and you should be ashamed of yourself, Brett Brown. The fact that you can only get him 9 shots and only get 9 points out of it. I mean, to me, when you look at this whole situation with Ben Simmons, I think that he's unhappy in Philadelphia. Either him or Joel Embiid needs to go, because I feel like those two guys cannot coexist, along with a guy like Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. I just think that Ben Simmons is going to be the odd man out in this whole group because he's the guy that can't shoot. And the fact that this is a shooter's league, he has to shoot. And it was one of the reasons why I criticized Ben Simmons as one of my most disappointing sophomores this year. Not because of his ability to drive the lane, but just of his ability to shoot. He said he didn't even need to work on it this offseason, which to me, watching today's game and watching the rest of the season, kind of goes to show you that he should have been working on that jump shot. We also know that Joel Embiid was not going to be healthy for today's game. As you can clearly see, I should say, 12 of 18 from the free throw line, but 5 of 15 from the field. That's just not going to cut it from a guy that's supposed to be your number 1 option. Joel Embiid needs to do a better job of not forcing himself to go out there when he doesn't need to, because we know what his body's capable of and we know what it isn't. We know that his body, in terms of his knees, are something that you shouldn't play around with. If it's hurt, if you're injured, don't play. I'm sorry, I understand that Joel Embiid is going to be a factor into how you guys play into the future, but the fact that he did everything in his damage from the line and only got 22 points, it shows you that he left at least 10 to 12 points on the board, because he should have been a guy that should have at least gotten 32 points in tonight's game and should have been the difference maker in winning tonight's game against the Brooklyn Nets. I understand the Brooklyn Nets are a young up-and-coming team, and they look like a very dangerous team with guys like D'Angelo Russell, LeVert, Dinwiddie, Jarrett Allen. I mean, a lot of guys. DeMar Carroll is a role player. Ed Davis doing his thing. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this Brooklyn Nets team that are doing their thing. And the fact that the Brooklyn Nets are in this series right now and they've already are up 1 game just kind of goes to show you that the 76ers took them lightly, and also the fact that they just didn't prepare for themselves. And it's the reason why I've called for Brett Brown to be fired. I understand that Brett Brown has done a lot of things. He's been there through the trust the process, but at the same time, enough is enough from the Brooklyn Nets and Brett Brown. It is time that you get someone in new to factor in Ben Simmons and progressing as a player, and to also get Joel Embiid more involved and making sure that he's rested. He needs to be on the Kawhi Leonard diet, or the Kawhi Leonard game management, where he's not playing too many games and he's taking that load management, because to me, Joel Embiid is too valuable of a player to just kind of willy-nilly put him out there. He needs to be protected. He needs to be a guy that's not so much as to, you know what, Joel, if you're feeling healthy, go ahead and do it. No, he has to be a guy that needs to be 110%, because if he's not 110%, he's not going to help you out on the floor. He's going to be a hindrance, and he's not even going to do anything for you guys going further, because he'll probably be injured instead of being healthy. The last thing I want to say, though, is the fact that Ben Simmons needs to step up. Whether it's driving the lane more, whether it's getting him more involved, Brett Brown needs to do a better job of getting Ben Simmons the basketball and also facilitating the offense, because when he did do that, it looked like the 76ers were a completely different team. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons as the power forward, a guy that doesn't get the ball a lot, is just absolutely useless. And even as a rebounder, only 7 rebounds for a guy that's 6'10", Come on now. He should be getting at least 12 to 13 boards if he's going to do that role. But to me, Brett Brown, you have to do a better job of making sure that Ben Simmons is involved in the offense, because when he is involved, it looks like the team is much better with him than without him. And of course, the whole question is going to come back to Ben Simmons, can he shoot? Because to me, when he gets a jumper, that is when the 76ers will become a legit contending team. But for now, they're still pretenders, because Ben Simmons has yet to prove to anybody that he can at least hit a 15-foot jump shot. And I understand that, he said it to many people, I don't need to work on a jump shot. I'm fine the way it is. But it's not the case, Ben Simmons. You are not doing yourself any service or any justice by not being able to shoot a jumper, because you're a liability out there. Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, all those guys can demand a double team. Meanwhile, you can't demand a double team, which means that you're not able to get people open. You're stuck being guarded by one guy, and it just sucks to see that Ben Simmons, who had so much promise during his rookie year and also sophomore year, to now where he's at here, where it just looks like he's not even going to completely live up to the expectation. They call him Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, an Australian Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, or a 6'10 Rondo. That's not the type of reputation that I want to see from a guy in Ben Simmons. I want to see a guy that's saying, you know what, this guy could be pretty deadly. He's a better Rondo. He's a better whatever. He's going to be an elite player. But the fact that he just doesn't have a jump shot yet just goes to show you that he's still not ready to take over the Philadelphia as the number 1 or number 2 option. But anyway, guys, that's just my opinion, guys, of game 1 of the Brooklyn Nets and 76ers. Like I said, this is going to be a fun and interesting series to watch as we see D'Angelo Russell go at it with Ben Simmons. We see Karis LeVert do his thing. We see Joel Embiid. Can he be healthy for this series? And of course, my favorite player on the team, Spencer Dinwiddie, doing his thing off the bench. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of also what I said about Ben Simmons not being able to live up to the expectation and being treated as a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Let me know what you guys think of that statement. But anyway, guys, like I said, this has been your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss our content like we have here today, talking about the Brooklyn Nets, 76ers game 1 playoffs, and also guys such as Trae Young. Will he be able to win Rookie of the Year from Luka Doncic? That's another storyline and another video that you should check out. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.